The Convoluted Life of Gleaming Shield, Chapter 2, Level 2, Coffee Addict. The sun was in the sky as Gleaming Shield staggered her way down the street. The morning air was chilly, but the feeling of cool air against her coat felt amazing after the long nights in her stifling armor. It also had the added benefit of helping her stay awake. She made her way down the winding lanes of Middle Canterlot completely naked, save for a purple scarf that was wrapped loosely around her neck. After dropping off her armor back at her apartments, she had donned her autumn apparel and quickly took the streets. Her mane was disheveled and stuck out in odd places, those were the after effects of wearing a helmet for long periods of time, but she didn't really mind. Unlike her sister, she didn't try and keep up her physical appearances.
There's no point anyways,
She lamented to herself.
No pony's even looking.
Rounding a bend in the lane, she smiled when her destination came to view. The bell above the door chimed as she entered, and her nostrils were assaulted by a spiced aroma that immediately perked her up. She inhaled deeply before making her way further inside, weaving her way through the smattering of tables and chairs, some of which were already occupied. She ignored them though, choosing to hop up on one of the stools that lined a counter that ran along the back wall. She had only been there for a moment when a mare in an apron appeared from the back room behind the counter.
Hello there, and welcome to Brood Awakenings. What can I get?
Upon seeing who was seated at the counter, the mare rolled her eyes, yet still smiled good-naturedly. Turning her head, she called into the back.
Hey, guess who's back again?
What? Really? No shit, came the reply. At the sound of the voice, a shiver ran down Gleaming's back and she couldn't help the dopey smile that spread across her face. There was the sound of something heavy being moved around before a large creature emerged from the doorway. Gleaming's heart fluttered in her chest, and her cheeks flushed. The creature was like nothing that had ever been seen in Equestria before. Standing on two legs, he towered over most creatures. Completely bald, the only hair he seemed to have was a patch of it on top of his head, and a layer of stubble about his chin and cheeks. He wore clothing, a white button-up shirt with the sleeves rolled up, which was tucked into a pair of black pants. There was no other creature like him. He was truly one of a kind. Resident human and extra-dimensional being, Anon. Catching the sight of Gleaming, Anon grinned widely. Well, paint me green and call me a cucumber. Gleaming Shield! You back once more for another hit? Wiping his hands on his apron, he put them on his hips. What? Last night's fix not last? Is your tolerance getting too high, or do you just need more of the goods?
I'm not addicted to coffee, you dick.
Gleaming frowned. She tried to keep the sleepiness from her voice, but that failed spectacularly when a yawn unexpectedly escaped her.
And yes, I need more. I didn't get to finish last night's order. It ended up in the trash.
Another yawn.
All of the usual, if you don't mind.
Hey, you got it. Gotta keep my customers supplied or else I might go looking elsewhere. Glancing down to the end of the counter, Anon called out. Oi, Mocha! 1 extra large iced cappuccino supreme, extra drizzle, extra toppings, 4 extra shots of espresso.
1 procrastinator's night before finals coming right up.
The light brown unicorn called out. As the brewing machines buzzed to life, Anon turned his attention back to Gleaming. So, rough night last night, huh? They working you pretty hard up there at that palace? Gleaming shrugged.
The usual. Go here, stand there, guard that. It's nothing too exciting. Boring, yes, but it wasn't too bad. Dear Celestia, I almost came close to braining myself with my own spear. It was so torturous. I can't really complain, though. At least I'm getting my hours in.
Anon nodded. Yeah, I'll say. Looks like you're gonna be getting some overtime this week for sure. At her confused look, he pointed at her face. Those are some mighty big bags you have under those eyes.
It's nothing a little coffee can't fix.
Gleaming mumbled. Self-consciously, she touched her cheek with a hoof.
They aren't that bad, are they?
Oh, come on, Gleaming. Anon crossed his arms. Cut with the bullshit. You're always tired. Like, all the time. 24/7. In fact, if you weren't a regular customer and if we didn't practically get most of our business from just you, I'd be telling you to invest in your own coffee maker.
I'll have you know that I already own a coffee maker.
Gleaming shot back before frowning.
Wait, most of your business? I don't come here all that often, do I?
Thinking about it, she came to the realization that yes. Yes, she did. Ever since she wandered into the cafe for the first time over a year ago, she had come back on a daily basis. The coffee was one of the reasons, but the main reason was the large human in front of her.
He's exaggerating, hon.
Mocha said as she placed a large cup of iced coffee in front of Gleaming, snapping her from her thoughts.
But still, he has a point. You are in here at least twice a day, sometimes more, and you always seem to order very strong coffees.
She gave Gleaming a concerned look.
You do know that caffeine isn't a substitute for sleep, right? What? I sleep?
Gleaming insisted.
What? I do!
She continued as both of them gazed her raised eyebrows.
Occasionally. Sometimes. Once in a while. Leave me alone.
Puffing at her cheeks, she started in on her drink, sucking the straw aggressively. The cold liquid felt amazing as it rushed down her throat. Anon grinned. We've named a drink after you. The Gleaming Sleep Schedule. Gleaming paused in her drinking.
You what?
Still grinning, Anon pointed a thumb over her shoulder, indicating the chalkboard on the wall behind him. Squinting, Gleaming peered in the direction that he was pointing. There, at the bottom of the list of specials, squeezed in beneath the Celestia's Donut Addiction Half Calf, written in blocky handwriting, not hoof writing, there was a distinct difference, were the words, Gleaming Sleep Schedule. 24 ounces of espresso, topped with whipped cream, and chocolate drizzle, dusted with chocolate flakes. Not for the weak-hearted. Gleaming's ears then folded against her head.
Hey, I don't drink that much coffee!
Both Mocha and Anon burst out laughing.
I don't! Besides, that much espresso isn't healthy. Relax, hon. We're just teasing.
Mocha chuckled.
The special isn't real. Oh.
Blushing deeply, Gleaming lowered her head and pulled her iced coffee closer to herself.
I knew that.
Mocha shook her head, yet gave her a warm smile before moving off to help a new customer that had just entered and was approaching the counter, leaving Gleaming and Anon alone. As Gleaming sipped at her drink, mentally kicking herself for her outburst, Anon began wiping down the countertop with a damp rag. So, he said as he worked. Got any plans for today? Besides lurking around here, that is. Now that your company isn't appreciated, you're one of our better regulars.
Not really.
Gleaming muttered sleepily.
Probably just go home, do some cleaning, and then get a nap in. Then afterwards get ready for work tonight.
More work? Anon asked. When's your next day off?
Not till 4 more days.
Gleaming said, yawning.
And I only have 1 day off before another 5 days on.
Anon winced. Ugh, that's rough. You gonna be able to make it?
No. Yeah,
Gleaming sighed.
I'll be fine, so long as I get some sleep this afternoon.
With all that caffeine in your system, I highly doubt you'll be getting sleep anytime soon. Anon scoffed. You'll need to find something, or someone, to do in order to tire yourself out. Pulling the rag down, he moved over to greet another customer as Mocha worked on the orders. Gleaming sadly glanced at him over the lid of her cup before muttering under her breath.
A girl can dream, Anon. A girl can dream.
Gleaming could barely keep her eyes open as she wandered back to her apartments. The earlier weather had turned a bit colder, a thick cloud covering rolling in to block out the sun. A few raindrops splattered here and there onto the cobblestone streets, but the rain hadn't actually started yet. There was still enough time for her to get home. Rounding the corner onto her street, she yawned again, her sore jaw cracking. She was basically moving on autopilot, her body moving on muscle memory alone. Forget about cleaning anything, the first thing she was going to do upon getting home was passing out on the couch. Just 3 steps inside, and 4 to the right, and she'd be able to rest. All she had to do was get to the building. She'd take the elevator this time. There was no way that she was getting up the stairs. She didn't remember getting in the elevator, nor the ride up, and as she stepped onto her floor though, she blinked as her mind processed what she was seeing. The stallion stood outside of her door, staring at her with a look that could only be described as lecherous. The bag of bits held in his magic clinked noisily as he shook it. Gleaming stared at him for a moment before sighing.
75 bits for the usual.
The stallion tossed the big bag at her and she caught it in her own magic. Sighing again, Gleaming made her way to the door and unlocked it. She pushed her way inside, making sure to slip a red tag over the outside doorknob as she passed. The stallion followed her, already emerging from a sheath. The door then closed behind them with a click.
Hopefully I'll be able to sleep through this one.
Gleaming prayed.
Or else I'm really going to need that Gleaming sleep schedule tonight for sure.
I personally never seen, heard, or even experienced that kind of sleep deprivation, but To just think about it, it sounds like absolute hell. Now let's get on to our angelic donators. Top donators, Dash of Evergreen, Peter Coulthard, J Tin Man, and Darkside. CourierCruz Delta Omega, RuneScythe9852, Dospo, Ryanny Dragonwolf, Secret Moon, Tal Rasha, The Toilet Snake, Cerberus, Starlight Glimmer, Squiddy Boy, David D. Sanchez, Soul Dragon, Gaggy, Trey, Shadow Drake, Joe Piercy, Alex F., Rainbow Dash, Teal K. Anderson, TV Killer, and John Becker. Thank you all very much for watching this video, live life to the fullest, and never deprive yourself of sleep.